Let's This is episode 6 of Let's Win You Money Betting Tennis. I want to do that podcast once a week where we go over our bets for the week. It is the US Open and it is September 3rd and it is 9:20 as I record this PM. So we are live with Gregor Dimitrov versus the American Francis Tiafoe in the quarterfinal for the right to play the other American, Taylor Fritz, who had a huge win against Alexander Choke Zverev today. Zverev just can't get over the hump in the big tournaments. It continues as Fritz plays lights out, beats him in 4 sets. Unfortunately, I did have Zverev minus 3.5 games on the premium card. It was the only play. Thought Zverev was going to finally get over the hump, especially with Alcaraz and Joker going out, but Fritz bringing one home for the Americans. Let's see if Tiafoe can join him in an all-American semi. That would be huge. The Americans been making some good waves at the U.S. Open recently. I believe that's 3 straight years of an American in the semis. Tiafoe 2022, Sheldon last year, and then now Fritz. So come on, Tiafoe, let's join him there. Just wanted to go over last week's of betting. Been on fire at the U.S. Open, but wanted to let you know we still go on tennis year round. We got free plays. Have a free play for everybody tomorrow on 9-4, as well as always free plays at letsgetawin.com, as well as this YouTube site. So, man, hit the subscribe button for me. Appreciate the love, trying to build this fan base up because I am the best tennis handicapper out there. So as I speak, Dimitrov is serving and Tiafoe is 30 love on him, so maybe he can get an early break here. Here's what we're going to go over on this little episode. At the end of the episode, we'll give you that free play for 9-4 at the U.S. Open. U.S. Open is winding down. It's been a great tournament with the big dogs going out. 3 of the top 4 seeds are already gone. Sinner is holding strong against one yesterday in the round of 16 against another American, Tommy Paul. Paul fought good in the first 2 sets, but Sinner was just too much. Hits it too hard, just too fundamental, and took him out in straight sets after the first 2 went 7-6, with Sinner being the new tiebreak king, taking over from Joker. As I've said in the past, tennis is in good hands with these guys. This tournament has been great. But again, the U.S. Open doesn't end. I believe we're on to China next, got a couple 250s. Then you get into that big 1,000 Masters. The tennis season does not sleep, and we are always there. I've said this in the past. As much as I did great at Wimbledon, and we'll show you the record, and we've been on fire at the U.S. Open, I believe 17-6. We will dive into that. I cut my teeth at the small 250s. That is where we separate the men from the boys, and that is when we supply the winners on your Tuesday afternoon of a battle of 100 plus ranked players. We are there for you. Anybody getting into the gambling field, want to let you guys know that, doing that one-on-one coaching, trying to help everybody out, but it's not just for tennis. It is all sports. My method can go to all sports. Just have a passion for tennis. I've been diving into a little college football. Might dive into that a little bit later on in the episode. Let's start with the record here. In August, we finished 53-24, up 36.7 units. Had a couple big dogs, including that Alexei Popyrin play at the U.S. Open. We are 17-6, up 14.2 units. So a strong U.S. Open, a strong August. Again, I've always said, I preach the goal is to be a 60% winner. We're hovering around about 68%, maybe a little lighter since the rebrand. We'll go into the record in more detail here shortly. Let's give a check at this match. Tiafoe has 2 break points here. Dimitrov looks to be struggling early on the serve, just saves one of them. So 40-30, Francis Tiafoe in game number 5 of set 1. Oh, man, let's get back at it. August record, as we claimed. All premium plays found at letsgetawin.com. Also sign up for that one-on-one sports betting coach. It is free as of now. I got 2 guys on now. I don't want to have more than 3. So be that last one to subscribe for that 3rd spot. Just going to ask a couple questions once you reach out and fill it out on the page of letsgetawin.com. Scroll down, click on that, fill out a couple questions, and I'll get back to you on where you live and some other things to get you going. It's for new sports bettors and those bettors that have been losing but want to take it more serious. Also offer the 1 day of premium plays, 7 days of premium plays, and 30 days of premium plays. But as always, give a lot of free plays here on this channel. So subscribe for me, please. Let's dive back into 8:30 action. We'll go the last 4 days because this was a huge overall card. On 8:30, we gave Brandon Nakashima minus 2.5 games as the free play. That was a winner. Also gave Andre Rublev minus 4.5 games, winner as well. But then the big dog, Alexei Popyrin, money line plus 525, gives us a 3-0 sweep, up 7.25 units on 8:30. Popyrin won the first 2 sets against Joker. Joker fought back in the third, and Popyrin closed him out to advance to the round of 16, where he then loses to the American Tiafoe. When you will see we had Tiafoe the next day on 9-1. I took advantage of that because I always like to bet the guy that just beat Joker or Alcaraz. We did it with the Draper versus the guy who beat Alcaraz. I always like to take advantage of those guys, even though if you've been on here watching all videos, you know Alexei Popyrin is my guy. But felt like there was good value in Tiafoe at almost even money at minus 110. Tiafoe, believe, won in 4 sets, maybe 3. It was 4. Tiafoe held strong and took it home. Also had Grigor Dimitrov that day against Andre Rublev at plus 105. Yesterday, we come back down to earth. We did have 7 straight winners going into yesterday. And then we came out with Jack Draper at minus 4.5 games, which made it 8 straight winners overall and at the U.S. Open. But then I went froggy and gave you Jordan Thompson money line plus 310. I was going to give plus the points. I believe it was 5.5, 4.5 where he looked, but he got waxed. He ended up winning second set. I think De Minaur covered by 8 games. So I'm glad I gave the money line out with the battle of the Aussies. I keep hearing this De Minaur injury stuff. You know, he got injured on that match against Arthur Fees at Wimbledon, and then he had to drop out against Joker. But man, the guy looks money to me. You know, we'll dive into that later. That's actually the free play match, but I'll tell you who I like and what I like here in a little bit. But Thompson came out, got bageled in the first set, came back, fought, and won the second set, lost a tough battle in set 3, and then the break fest started. I believe there was 3 breaks each in the 4th set with De Minaur closing them out. So De Minaur is on to the quarters as well as Jack Draper. And then today we do lose, as stated earlier, had Alexander Zverev minus 3.5 games at minus 130. It was the only play of the day. Once any major or any tournament really, but the majors start getting going into the round of 8, round of 4, the semis, you know, usually the card drops. I don't see much value anywhere. This was the only play I liked. Like I said, I thought Zverev would come out on fire, and he did not. He played way past the baseline. Everybody kept saying, McEnroe kept talking about it. It was way too deep, kept playing defense, and Fritz was on the aggressive and ended up bringing it home. Let's dive into the match real fast. It looks like Foe did get that break. So Frances Tiafoe is up in set number 1, up a break early against Grigor Dimitrov. Let's go a little bit deeper on the big screen. As you see, is Spank odds. I always stress getting an odd screen. Gotta have it. Number 1 rule to gambling, now that it's legal in most places, if you're in one of those states with multiple books, you need an odd screen. You have to bet the best line available. Do a little example here. If for some reason you had a Circa account and a Bet Online account, and you liked Yannick Sinner tomorrow, he's minus 265 at Circa, minus 260 at Bet Online. You would have to Bet Online. Gambling is tough, man. You got to take those advantages when you get them. Even something as small as a 5-point difference in the long run pays off. So I use Spank Odds, the free trial. We might even get hit with an ad here. It's a 5-minute delay, but then I also use on the small screen here, I do 10 or odds checker, excuse me. I plug in my state and it puts the best line at each book. Always recommend those. Let's dive back into the record. September 3-2, up 0.7 units. You see the U.S. Open 17-6. Year to date, we are on fire. Did this tennis rebrand on 6/18. We are 121-53, up 79 units in that short time span at a 69% clip. Again, I'm on absolute fire. I do expect that to come back down. Hopefully we keep it around 61, which we ended last year. 65 would be incredible. If I'm at 65% until the end of this year, when 1/1/25 comes around, I've been making everybody some good money. So we'll try to keep that streak going. Down here at Wimbledon, we ended up finishing 24-8, up 16.5 units. And you see the August record. So try to keep that September record going. Give a check of that score here. Dimitrov looking to try to break back 15-30. Foe on serve. Dimitrov up 30-15 in game number 6 at the U.S. Open quarterfinals for the right to play Taylor Fritz, the American, in the semis. So let's go over the lines tomorrow, do a little preview here. That's our little recap for the U.S. Open. Tomorrow we got Yannick Sinner versus Daniil Medvedev. Sinner looks like on Circa opened up at minus 235. He is currently 265. Medvedev on the back end plus 200. He is plus 225. So, they've matched up many, many, many times now. I believe it might be even with Medvedev taking probably the first 6 times they matched up, and then Sinner probably won the next 6. But you got to remember Medvedev beat him in this exact spot at Wimbledon not too long ago. Sinner, to me, he's got this little ailing hip injury. I know it's been injured. He's battled a lot of those allegations. He had mono. He had this lingering hip issue. But, man, he is a monster, and I'm a big Sinner fan. I do think he didn't do anything wrong with the allegations, but this is a great matchup. No lean here. If I had a gun in my head and had to pick it, I'd take Medvedev at plus 225 here at Circa on the money line. He's been on fire. He's had a good path, but so is Sinner. Let's dive over to the sides and totals here. Looking like 4.5 across the board. 38.5 is the over under. Maybe think about that over 38.5. I could easily see it being 1-1 going into that second. But Medvedev has been on fire. Let's dive back into the next match, which is Jack Draper versus Alec de Minaur. Looks like it opened at minus 130 at Circa. Not much movement. A little Jack Draper money, it looks like, which let's dive into that free play. We're going to give you, hold tight here. Let's get to the screen. We don't have it up yet, but I will add it to the video. Jack Draper money line plus 110. We're giving you Jack Draper tomorrow, money line plus 110 against Alec de Minaur. Reason being, Draper has been on fire this tournament. He took out Mahawk in straight sets. The lefty has ran through the group. De Minaur had a little challenge with the Australian. And again, from what I hear in my inside the tennis world, he's still got that little injury. He's not 100%. He keeps saying he's not 100%. So let's hopefully that comes back to earth. And we'll go Jack Draper money line plus 110. Be nice if Sinner and Draper won. They're both good friends. But we're going to go Jack Draper against Alec de Minaur tomorrow. Hopefully the big lefty can come out on fire and just serve de Minaur to death. I know de Minaur is a great returner, but, stuff happens, and Draper's been good. So let's continue that train. Looks like Foe held on here, and now Dimitrov struggling again on serve. Foe 4-2. Man, I bet it is popping over there at Arthur Ashe, getting loud for the American. It'd be crazy to have two in the semis. That means one would have a chance to break the major drought of 23 years. That would be some exciting stuff. So, as always, here to win you money betting tennis. Like I said, maybe dive into a little college football. Big Hurricanes fan here. Big 41-17 win over the Gators. Shout out to all my Hurricanes fans. They looked great. Georgia looked great. A lot of good matchups next week. Let's glance on over. It is NFL week 1. I do stay away from NFL betting. I do mostly daily fantasy, but NFL is so tough. Let's dive into just the first couple days of college football. Georgia Tech, Syracuse is a good matchup. Georgia Tech a 3-point favorite on the road. You know, I always give anything other than tennis as free plays too. I went 2-1. I posted that. Had Georgia to wax Clemson, which easily happened. Had one of the worst bets I've ever placed in history. UMass -2.5 against Western Michigan. Eastern Michigan. Eastern Michigan waxes them across the field, and then had Notre Dame +3, which they went into Texas A&M and won. But let's end on a tennis note. 30-30, Game 7 of Set 1. Tiafoe up a break. Replay Jack Draper +110 on the money line at 9-4 at the U.S. Open. Thank y'all for tuning in. As always, give me a subscribe. Watch the videos. A lot of free content and gambling content out there. Y'all take it easy.